Welcome back to Universal Love Law. Today's video is going to be all about if you have a fourth house stellium, okay? I want to just let you guys know, sorry, I had to do a quick workout. My Mars is conjuncting the sun right now. And it's in Sagittarius. And so I have like fire, a lot of fire, like going through my body. Sometimes I need to work out. Like, I just need a workout, so I kind of did a little workout before this video. It helps me because I need that stimulation. Anyways, so I did this video before, and it got cut short because it got cut in the middle of me being able to do the video, and so I wasn't able to come upload it because I didn't get through all the houses. Like, I got to Uranus, so I was really pissed off about that because I only needed like 2 more like planets to get to, and I was already like 40 minutes in. But it's okay. I figured maybe I need to do this a different day, and I need to do this a different way. And so I had a lot of important information, but I was like, whatever, I'll just start over. Okay, so let me give the foundation for this video. The fourth house is an area of life. Everyone has it. So you have something called 12 houses. And your rising sign, it is estimated depending on the time you were born. So you want to find out what time you were born exactly, because it will show you exactly what your rising sign is, which will lay out the blueprint for your houses. So your houses might have like the signs differentiate depending on your degree. So this is why you really want to know exactly what time you were born when you do this. Okay. For those of you who already do and you're just here to listen to the video, I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Now, also, so you have 12 areas of life. The fourth being your area of roots, traditions, home, family, parents, siblings, values, your emotional intelligence, your emotional capacity, your nurturing. It is what creates your overall self-esteem, self-image, and not self-image like first house energy, but more so what creates your emotional state or your emotional appreciation for yourself. And so that deals with your acceptance, self-acceptance, your emotional capacity. And so I want to also lay this information down so I had a conversation with my coworker the other day. Love her. She knows who she is. If she ever watches this video, shout out to you. You know, when I tell what happens, what I'm talking about. And so basically, we were explaining how the older we got into like experiences in life where they pushed us to our breaking point, to where we literally lost ourselves. And we both agree, like, we both have reached that point. And it changed us forever because it made us act out in a way that we scared our own self. And we didn't realize that we could have that emotional depth or that emotional experience. And so we both came to the conclusion that your emotions are stronger than this physical body. Like, the emotional capacity that a person has within them is way more powerful than this body. That, like, the expression and the way the emotions can be expressed and come out is far more powerful than this physical vessel can allow us to express it. And so our emotions are very much so established during our early childhood experiences. And so this is where the fourth house is really beginning to create a self-identity and awareness of the emotional capacities. So let's go through these planets, okay? So I'm going to start with the sun. Now, your sun is your vitality. It's your strength, your willpower. It's what people see throughout your lifetime. It's quality, a natural quality that you have that you share in common with other people that are the same sign. So there's natural qualities that build your characteristics, and the sun is that. And so that could be broken down in earth, water, air, fire. Okay, so 4 different elements, 3 different modalities: fixed, mutable, cardinal. Okay, you want to look that up if you don't know. And so if your sun, which is your characteristics, the way you project yourself in the world, if that falls in your 4th house, your focus, because sun deals with what you prioritize your world around. It's your main focus, it's your main target, it's what you go for in life, it's what your life's theme is. If that falls into the area of family, roots, then you're very focused on your family, and you really are giving your life to the ones that you consider family, or what you consider your home. You feel most comfortable at home. You treasure and value your home to the point of where you invite people over, or you really value it. Depending on where your sun sign is. Now, you could be a sun sign Scorpio, and you prefer privacy when it comes to home. And so you really want to find out what your sun sign is. Now, I'll go briefly through the sun so that I could get to the other planets. Okay, so I'm only going to do it with I'm going to do it through the elements. So let's say you have a watery, no, let's start from the ground up. So let's say you have earth. Let's say you have an earth sun sign in your home. You're very practical when it comes to the way you are in the home, the way you conduct yourself in home. You're very grounded. You're very, you prefer natural lighting, natural colors, very simplicity, very comfortable lifestyle of living. You prefer surroundings that has a lot of maybe a lot of materials, because earth is dealing with the material wealth, intangible items, and practicality. So you prefer a very simplistic surrounding in your home. Your approach to how you are in the home is very grounded, down to earth. The rest of your chart does matter, but this is the way you're seen in home. This is the way you are in home, and this is the way you want your home to be. Unstable situations will show a debilitation, and you prefer that not to exist, or not to coexist with that in your home. Okay, water. Let's say you have water in your sun sign in your 4th house. Then this means that you're very nurturing around the home. You're very emotional. You might need time alone a lot, and you need a space to call your own. You need a space where you can hide off, duck off, and emotionally express and emotionally release your waters. So you typically would prefer a home that gives you the ability to be yourself and be comfortable. Like water likes to spread out in the land. So, you like to be comfortable in every area of your life, every area of your home, every nook and cranny. This is just your sun, okay? So, your sun, okay, in the home. It's not like emotion. It's the way you are and project yourself. It's the way your outlook is and what you want, how you want your home to be, and how the energy you project or attract in home. And so it's very emotional. It's very watery. It's very passionate. You're very nurturing to people that live with you. But you could be moody. You could get a little bit grumpy and need that time to be alone. Let's say you have air. So if you have, fire. If you have fire, now if you have fire in the sun, and as your sun sign in your 4th house, you're very vibrant at home. People know when you've walked in the door. They feel your presence, your energy. You like to be felt in home. You like bright colors. You like comfortability. You like home to be a place where you can have fun, enjoy yourself, create, very creative energy, very passionate in the home. A lot of opportunities to express your creative side in the home. So there's a lot of that going on. You're very much so an entertainer in home. You're very much so someone that is valued for that, but you could quickly get into heated situations. You could be a little bit stubborn because you like things to be your way, but as fast as you get upset is as quick as you burn out. You know, you get quickly tempered, and but that goes away, it fizzles away depending on your chart. But ultimately, you prefer vibrancy. You like the home to be pop, like out and expressive and high vibrational, passionate. You like to, you might even work from home. I don't know why I said that, but you may work from home because you find your niche, you find your creative style at home. And so, yeah. And then last is your earth. Air, sorry. So let's say you have air in your sun sign in home, in the 4th house. So that means that your sun sign is very proactive when it comes to communication. It's probably key to you. You probably communicate in various ways. You know, you might communicate through body language a lot at home. You know, you might be the type of person who needs time to talk to family, and you might have a lot of things around your home that are words. Like, you might have a lot of things that say peace and family and love, like words all around the home. You know what I mean? You're very communicative when it comes to the way you express yourself. You need to feel like there's some type of mental stimulation. You might even have colors that stimulate you, or artwork that stimulates you at home. You might have those opportunities where you might start things just to talk about it. You really want to form relationships with people in the home that are based on meeting of the minds. And so, yeah, that's air. So this is your sun, okay? This is how your sun, if you know, depending on what your sun sign is, this is how your sun interacts with home. It's more so how you are in the home and how you project yourself around the home and what you like to feed off of in your home. This is the energy that you give to your home because this is your sun, and this is the energy that you would want to receive. Okay? And so, yeah, so you're very, it doesn't matter what element you have, whether it be air, water, fire, earth, whatever. It doesn't matter. If your sun is in home, you're very prominent to be seen in the home. You're not in the shadows or like, you know, quiet or even if you have like Scorpio, it doesn't matter. You're felt. Your presence is felt in the home. You're expressive in the home in one way or another. Okay, moving on to moon. If you have your moon in your 4th house, which I have this placement, so moon originally rules the 4th house because it's ruled by Cancer. And so when you have your moon in the 4th house, something that you always crave and desire is to be very comfortable. You know, you go through mood swings as well because, you know, and people around the house, they feel your energy in an emotional state. Like, you know, there could be times where you're very quiet and like, you know, but people kind of hone in and feed off your energy. They know how you feel. You're very sensitive to every room. You know the energy in a room very well. You're very connected that way because the moon deals with more of the feeling and the emotions. And so when you have your moon in your 4th house, when it comes to your family, you're very connected to them. When it comes to, you can make home anywhere because you have a sense of home in you. Like, you have a desire for home anywhere you go. You prefer to be connected and tapped into this state of tranquility. And when you're not, when you're upset, you could damage your home. Like, you could probably, like, if you're in a very negative state emotionally, because your moon is already your emotions. And so when your emotions are off, people in the home will know. You'll be depressed. Like, you'll need to be alone. You'll probably want dark around you. And this is natural quality of someone that has a 4th house moon. You have your moon in the 4th house, you're going to naturally have high and low emotional roller coasters where you're going to be, you know, expressing that throughout the home. Now, not only will you show like this, you know, all of you in your home emotionally, your emotional state of being, but you also will show your, you know, not just lows, but highs too. So when you're feeling good, like when your emotions are in a good place and you feel stable, you know, you will start to invest in your home. You love to have things like good aromas, like things that make you feel sensual, like the sensations. So this could be tapping into like that Taurus earth energy, but it kind of is like that when you have your moon in your home. You know, you really need to be, your moon is a place where, I mean, your house, your home is a place, your home environment is a place where you want to feel emotionally stable. You want to feel grounded. And so your roots have a lot to do with this. Like your upbringing and how you were raised really predicts the outcome in your emotional stability. Now, if you were raised in a home environment as a child that was very toxic and chaotic and arguing and things of that nature, then it really negatively affects the moon in the 4th house person, because they have to ultimately, eventually one day, face those belief systems that were cast upon them, and that is really the details of whatever they were exposed to, those communication and arguments or whatever, or those negative toxic representations that were shown to them. The moon person soaks it all in. They become engulfed with it and believing that this is who they are, when in all actuality you are who you create yourself to be and who you really are meant to be. And you only find that through finding what makes you happy, exploring and going out there in the world and finding, you know, what is truly your connection and who you're truly meant to be around, who your real family is, you know. And so this might be the case for some people. Now, there might be people who have had very great upbringings, and so their emotional intelligence might not be that expanded, like on the spectrum of like understanding, because the beautiful thing about both, where you had a good upbringing, the beautiful thing about that is, okay, you have a clear, concise understanding of what is emotional stability and what isn't, because you weren't raised like to be in an unstable environment, and you know when it's not, and you know that it's not something that you want to be involved in or around. You know, in anything that throws you off, you moon in the 4th house people, if you weren't raised around that, you will not want to be around it, because it will emotionally drain you, and you will feel like this is not how I was raised, and this is not how I'm going to allow myself to live. And you will change things, or because your emotions are, like I said in the beginning of the video, are way more powerful than this physical body. And so when you remember, you go back, you understand how volatile things could get in life. Your emotional reaction, because your moon is always your reaction, your emotional reaction will always put you in a position of, it will change your life. Moon deals with transformation just like Scorpio, because if you're not happy about things, your emotions will either positively or negatively affect you. And so, so you know that you will really be very stern and have those boundaries. Now, let's say you weren't raised in the best household, you moon in the 4th house people. You guys have a lot of work to do. It's a very unfortunate event for you guys, but the beautiful thing about it is you have an open spectrum of emotional intelligence. So not only will you be a natural healer for people, because you will grow empathy. Now, this is with time. This is with maturity, with experience after experience of uncomfortable situations. Because in the beginning, if you were raised and born into that, you think it's normal, until you start meeting people that you realize it's not normal, it's not okay, and people start to teach you your worth. And so you needed to experience having those bad experiences if you did have a more debilitated moon. And you would know this because you're at the age where you're understanding what I'm saying. And so that means that you could look back in your time and see if your upbringing was either bad or, you know, not so bad, whatever, or really very, very volatile. And you're able to reflect so that where you are right now, you can reprogram those belief systems, because ultimately your youth is a time where you're given this sense of self. And so if you weren't given nurturing and your moon is in the 4th house, you're going to go outside in the world and seek nurturing. If you weren't given attention, you're going to go outside in the world and seek that, you know, and whatever makes you feel comfortable. And this could lead you into a lot of experiences that are not easy getting out of. But you get out of everything. I want everyone to know that. Nothing is forever. Good things don't last forever, baby. Okay? And bad things don't either. So, yeah. Now, I don't want to stay too long on the moon, but I do have understanding of that, okay? So, do some childhood regression. Reflect. Look back. Understand that anything that happened to you when you were a child was not your fault. You didn't know any better. You were given the hand that you were given. Now, everything happens for a reason. Now, if you want to go more into deeper aspects of things, we do ask for the lives we receive now. Some people don't believe that, but, you know, that's either here or there. I don't want to misconstrue things, but, you know, everything happens for a reason, and everything is written in stone with a set of choices to make. And karma is created through that. And so, you know what I mean? And not to say that you were born into a bad life due to karma. No, your higher self knows why you wanted to choose a lifetime where you experience that emotional depth. And so, and you have a purpose. You may have been not even asking to be here on a bad note, but you may have been here asking to help influence a mass amount of people, which required you to experience harsher experiences in life so that you can reach your peak into this maturity level in this bracket of yourself where you can teach people and you can help people and you can heal people. And that is your purpose. So everything happens for a purpose. Know that. Moving along. Okay. To Mercury. If you have your Mercury in your home of values, it really depends on where your Mercury is now. Okay. So, but ultimately, or what planet your Mercury is. But let's say you have your Mercury in your 4th house. So this is a person whose intellectual capacities are really instilled and enriched during their childhood. This is a person who was taught a lot at home. This is a person who tradition means a lot to them. They learn a lot about tradition. They learn a lot about the world through home. They understand how to communicate through home. Their parents, their caregivers, their siblings really taught them a lot about the way the world operates and the way things are constructed, because Mercury deals with our thought processes, our belief, understanding, and our ability to understand and conceive ideas. Ideologies are formed. Okay, thought processes are formed when it comes to our Mercury. It's the way our mind thinks. And this taps into your psyche. Now, when you're dealing with the 4th house, which deals with home, and you put your Mercury in that planet, your psyche is either could be at a detriment, or it could be at a you know, a more uplifting state. So it really depends. So what is being fed to your mind is very, very important, or what is being fed to a child's mind is very, very important in the early years when it comes to the Mercury being in your 4th house, because that's where you're reaching your ability to conceive ideas. Now, what parents, caregivers, people give you as the ability to learn is very beneficial. Let's say you were born into a family where nobody really talked to you a lot. You know, that really could negatively affect you, because you're going to be seeking a ability to communicate and understand things when it comes to your sun. But your sun Mercury. When it comes to your Mercury being in the 4th house, it gives you a chatty home. And even if you don't have a lot of family members, it's just you and your parent or caregiver, or it could be you and heck of people. There's going to, that births you into a world of communication early on. Now, this can create biases in you. This could be negatively affecting you. You know, you could have been given belief systems early on that you stand by and have built upon thoughts until you conglomerately created this belief system, and you probably communicate that due to your upbringing. And so, or let's say you weren't talked to, you didn't have family, you were put in a detriment where your mind, your ability of thinking, capacity of mentalism was starved at an early age. When you were given the opportunity to go to school or interact with people, your mind was moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Okay? Because you were looking for that, seeking that. I don't care if you were reading cereal boxes, you know, reading cat food, whatever. You talking to imaginary people. You're going to be the type of person who is very communicative when it comes to your home environment. You desire it. And so, and you might need to seek therapy. And therapy comes in many forms. It could come through music. It could come through art, whatever. It could come through talking to someone if you were not given the opportunity to really connect with people mentally. If you weren't given that ability, because you were needed to be nurtured, because the fourth house deals with your nurturing desire. It's what you want to feel and how you feel like you are nurtured. So if you're not nurtured in a Mercurian way, you were starved of that. And so you find any way to stimulate your mental. Okay? And if you weren't given that ability or opportunity early on in life, then you probably lack ability to communicate. The self-esteem wasn't given to you. You probably love to speak, probably don't have the self-esteem to do that. And so you really want to seek some type of expression and find your form of expression so that you can get the therapy needed, because you need to build that muscle. And you need to talk about what's going on in your family. Now, another thing with Mercury in the fourth house is this could be a gossiper person about family issues. Like, this could be the person that builds the relationships with their family and sense of values and home and tradition based off talking about it. Okay? So if you're talking about your home environment, that could come off gossipy. That could come off, but that could be just your form of how you keep your home environment alive. Now, you will keep your home environment alive by talking about it. You might be the person at work always talking about home. You might always want to, talk about things that you could add to your home. Gadgets, things that you could bring in, because also remember, Mercury deals with the technology. Kind of like Uranus. But it deals with that. So you might be like always, snooping around Kmart or, I don't know, Marshall's, whatever, in the home goods section, trying to figure out to get some new gadgets all the time, That's funny. Okay, moving along. I'm going to move on to Venus. All right, if you have Venus in your fourth house, this is a very nice placement to have, depending on how your Venus is set up. You really, really value home. This is a person who was either in a very good light, was given a beautiful home, beautiful parents, very loving, very nurturing, very supportive, very catering to your needs, supported you emotionally, emotional stability. It's one of those gifted type of aspect, depending on how your Venus is aspected. Now, if let's say that your Venus is aspected in a positive light, this is someone who learned the value of things, because your home the fourth house gives you an intelligence of the emotions, of the value systems, and the esteem of self. And so when you're going out, you you know something that makes you feel good. You're very tapped into your what you appreciate through your security. So things that you appreciate and people that you appreciate make you feel good. Okay? And so this is a very interesting placement too, because let's say it's more debilitated. Now, if you have a debilitated Venus in your 4th house, this is someone who gets into a lot of drama with the ones they love. You know, could be have a very toxic home environment when it comes to the relationships that they have with people, because Venus deals with relationships, okay? Also, so now if your Venus is negatively aspected in the home, you may have you could be the black sheep. You may have been burned bridges with family members that never will be right again. You may never talk to your family again, create a home outside, way in another place. You may not have the relationship you wanted with your parents. You may hold a vendetta for that. You may have been you may be the type of person who is very, not happy about how your child life went. So you want to recreate a new version of that with your new family. Or you pick up on those toxic behaviors and you're fighting your life. Throughout your life, you're fighting to create a stable home environment, something that you were never given. And so really, it's either hit or miss. It's really dependent on how strong you are as a person in forgiving the relationships that were negative in the home and what they taught you. Okay, you probably had, if you had a more debilitated Venus, you probably had negative relationships with your siblings. Like, they probably, didn't really treat you fair. You probably wanted so badly to just have peace and love and harmony. But let's say you're older, you're over that now. Let's say you did have a good upbringing, whatever. You're older, you seek beauty in the home. You love beautiful furniture. You love beautiful pieces, beautiful lamps, tables. The colors, harmony, balance. A person that has Venus in the 4th house has a beautiful idea of the home and how it should be decorated. You guys know how to you could have an OCD like too when it comes to the cleanliness of your home environment. You might really want things to be particular and a certain way. That also goes with the Mercury people, too. I just have to say that, they could be really sticklers depending on, you have Mercury and Virgo in your 4th house. Oh, my God. You probably have the OCD out of this world. Even the Gemini. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But, yeah, you guys could have that, too. You could have that where you're basically, like, seeking elegance and beauty and balance in your home. And this is something that, either way it goes, your energy of home environment, you seek it to be in balance and harmony. So even if you did have a hard upbringing, it don't even matter. It won't even faze you, because you are going to create beauty in your home. It's just bound, because you have that natural energy of Venus there. It does depend on how your Venus is aspected, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's Venus. And so it's all about harmony. It's all about balance. Even if you're an imbalanced person, you're seeking balance. You know what I mean? So you always want to look at the positive of thing, because a thing we also have to remember is, with age and maturity, people usually get it together. Even if it wasn't that easy growing up. And I want to believe that people are here to seek to have the best lives that they can for themselves. And even if they're toxic people due to whatever situation and circumstance, I believe that there's moments where toxic people really just want the best for themselves. Even if they're hurting people or if they have narcissistic tendencies, I feel as though people ultimately want the best for themselves. And, you will get those experiences where life is going really great if you have the more negative traits. or the more debilitated Venus. But if you don't, oh my God, lucky you. Lucky for whoever is blessed to have you bless their home, or have you build a home with them. Like, whoever lives with you is lucky. If you're very, adamant and tapped into your Venus energy in that fourth house, I'm pretty sure you're decorating it to be beautifully and be comfortable for people, and, you just have a beautiful essence for people, and people really appreciate that. Even though this is dealing with you and your desires, it affects the world around you. It affects your children, it affects your family, it affects your, anybody, your house guests, people that come over. So yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, moving along to, so let's say you have, let's say you have Mars. Now, for people who have Mars, I'm going to start speeding through this. Okay, people that have Mars in the fourth house, you guys are, the thing about it is you guys want things your way. A lot of the times you want things to be your way. You might get into it with people because they don't understand that you want things to be your way. You find little things around home and little things that are triggered due to your upbringing triggers you, and Mars is ready to battle. Okay, so you could get into arguments with the ones you love the most all the time. You could be very hot and cold, like, one moment you're loving and passionate and warm, and the next moment you're just rambunctious. You could pick on the people in your home. You could be very passionate about home. You could be very driven for your home. You may be the one in the lead, taking the lead, or you may the one who could be very passive aggressive. It really depends on what your planet your Mars is in. What sign your Mars is in, and how your Mars is aspected to the other planets. But ultimately, having Mars in the fourth house could cause for frequent arguments, could cause for frequent battles, changes, abrupt changes, and it could cause for, that energy where you just want to take the lead. You want things to be your way. You want it immediately. It's a very impatientness at home. You can be very impatient, a little bit stubborn, okay? So, but hey, you got that energy. I don't want to just leave it there like, oh, that's a bad thing. Some people really appreciate this, and sometimes people don't appreciate something until it's gone. And so you can't deny the energy, but I would encourage you to be mindful if you're being a little mean to people, to be a little bit nicer to people. Okay, because karma's real, and you don't want to leave bad taste in people's mouth, because people don't forget things. Okay, so yeah, but ultimately you also could be one that do not play about your home and your family. You are the protector. That's a key fact. So moving along to Jupiter. Now, if you have Jupiter in your fourth house, Jupiter brings, keyword, expansion. I'm a Jupiter person. I have Pisces rising, Sagittarius sun. So I'm Neptune Jupiter type. Ooh, and moon type, because I have a Cancer moon. So I'm like fourth house energy, ninth house Jupiter expansion, Neptune 12th house mystery. I'm all that. So I really understand, like, when you have Jupiter in your fourth house, this brings an expansion, a learning, a processing, an understanding of the overall big picture of things. Very affluent child, lucky, protected. Even if you were born into a harsher family, you will always be saved from that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have the rose-covered glasses where you don't really see how hard things are until you get older. Sometimes you could have inheritance. This brings in wealth. This brings in fortune for you. This brings in work from home. This brings in being adopted by foreigners. This brings in having a total different experience than your friends. This brings in expansion of the mind, a more expanded outlook on life. A lot of life lessons, a lot of learning opportunities within the home. Traditional values probably weren't very traditional. They probably were very unique, okay? This is like Uranus energy, but so you definitely want to understand that If you have Jupiter in the 4th house, you have the ability to bring a lot of light and positivity in your home. Or you could bring a lot of negativity in your home. It just depends on how you choose to, what you choose to focus on in home. If you choose to think negative, you're going to bring that in big amounts. If you choose to think positive about home, family, then you will bring that in big amounts. You will bring so much. You have so much to give to your family, to your home environment, and that all affects your state of being and your health. So you very, very, very much so want to be tapped into how you're treating people at home, how you're treating yourself, okay? Moving on to Uranus. No, let me do Saturn. I'm going to do Saturn. Okay, so if you have Saturn in your 4th house, this brings a lot of, I'm going to take my time with this, okay? Because Saturn is one of those planets, you know, that I feel like it really brings about a learning, okay? And so your Saturn return, which happens between the age of 28 to 30, will bring a lot of revelations about your childhood to you. A lot of things that you were not able to let go due to the blockages that were put in place to protect you. Now, Saturn energy brings the lesson in life. It brings to you the ability to wait for something that is worth waiting for. It's something that if you were given the knowledge or the experience too early in life, you would miss your whole purpose. A lot of the Saturn energy deals with your purpose because it's what you gain knowledge of when you mature. It's a maturity aspect here. And this maturity aspect is in your 4th house of traditions, home. This is where you believe. This is where you are taught about yourself. This is the way you're taught to be cared for and nurtured. And you probably didn't get a lot of that growing up. You probably were a very mature person in the home. Very wiser than the bunch. Very mature. Very grounded. You know, or even if you weren't at home, you seemed that way. Home brought a solitude to you. Home brought a thinking, a revelation of things. Home brings that to you. You may lose home, you know, as a child. You may have experienced a lot of losses of experiences where you lost out on, you know, a regular childhood. You may feel like you didn't get what other children got. You may feel like you didn't get the love you wanted. And so all of these things that were blocked from you that you will get later on in life, because Saturn will come back around due to your karma, due to the way you treated situations, due to the way you accepted your childhood to be. The way you accepted it to be is what your outcome will be. And if you learn to forgive the people in your home and your caregivers, if you learn to overlook the things, knowing that those things had to happen for your betterment and had to happen for your ability to keep growing, and tap into this awareness that is a lot more intelligent than the regular planet being there. You have an understanding about sacrifice that a lot of people don't. You have an understanding about going without or accepting things the way they are without having any power to change it. Saturn has that power struggle energy, and so you may have experienced that a lot growing up in your home with your parents, with your siblings. But ultimately, all that changes the older you get due to your ability to forgive and mature. When Saturn comes back around, I'm pretty sure you'll be looking back at life or giving your children a life that you never got in a home that you never got. But one thing about it, no matter what, so you get old and gray, home is a place of security for you. It's a place that you feel should be treated with respect and seriousness. You don't play when it comes to home and when it comes to, making sure your home has its bare essentials and needs. And so that's one thing about a Saturn in the 4th house. You bring structure to the home. You bring structure to your family, you know? Yeah, so moving on to Uranus now. So you were the very quirky one in the home. Now, as a child, you probably were the one that when you walked by, you gave these very weird vibes to people, and it's not a bad thing. Don't look at that, because if you don't know, one of my favorite energies is Uranus, and so you probably very much so rebelled against your parents. You probably very much so rebelled against the traditions of the home. You probably didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. Probably didn't want to eat when everybody else was eating. Probably didn't want to believe the religion that everybody was believing in your home. You probably had that rebellious energy. You probably really wanted to learn about a lot of different things that were not happening in home. You know, you looked outside of home to understand more of what is familiar to you. Home to you could be very unique as you get older as far as what you consider and value as a home. You might not have the traditional values as you were taught or that your family may have had, because you got to remember Uranus is unique. It's different. It's not the same regular Joe, regular cup of coffee. No, it's some unique aromatic coffee that, nobody has ever tasted until, you get a hold of it. And so that's the thing about Uranus. And when you put that in the 4th house of traditions, family, you are different to them. You could also be the oddball. You could also be the black sheep. And so this is why it's very important for you to stay true to yourself. Do not allow what anybody thinks about you, I don't care if they're your family, who it is, what it is, to define you. You define you. As long as you're not being rude to people, as long as you're not disrespecting people, it's okay to be different. It's okay to see something and say, oh, I want to be the complete opposite of that because I see that. It's okay. You're creating a newness. You're creating a uniqueness. You're opening and expanding your mind to thinking outside of the box and being unorthodox, excuse me. So you're being different. In home, you're very different. You're different than your siblings. You probably like different furniture. You like things to be very modern, unique. Like, you probably decorate your home now in a very unique way. The style in which you express yourself when it comes to your value, your self-esteem, and your emotions is going to be different than what you've been taught. The beautiful thing about Uranus energy is they have an intelligence of opposition and opposites, okay? So they're able to see something for what it is and understand that there's a polar opposite that exists and engulf that. And they might not have never seen the opposite of it, but they have a intelligence that's subconscious. And this is the way they react and respond to home things, home environment things, like when it comes to their security and what they value, what they feel comfortable as in. Like, their home environment is your security, ultimately. It's your state of well-being. It's your emotions, your moon. I mean, not your moon, but your 4th house is ruled by the moon. But your Uranus in the 4th house of the family traditional values, you have a very unique way of expressing yourself while you were a child. It wasn't something you did try to do. It's something you naturally were just different. You know what I mean? You naturally just had a unique sense of style, sense of personality. You were different than your siblings. You were different than your mom and dad, your family. Like, you were a unique individual. Okay? Moving on to Neptune. Neptune in the 4th house, you were the dreamer. You've probably engulfed yourself as whatever characters you've seen growing up in the home. You probably had really didn't see things for what it was. Like, your parents probably were one way that you probably did not see it that way at all. You probably seen things very different than what it seemed to be. And you felt, and it affects your emotional reaction to things. Like, because the thing about Neptune is it deals with your illusions and fantasies, okay? So home definitely is a place for you to express your emotions in a very imaginary way. You were very unique as a kid when it comes to your imagination. Like, you were probably a very creative little kid that, you know, was very, very, something was very peculiar about you to your parents, to family members, you know. And even as you are older, you have a very blinded illusion on what you feel is home. And you got to remember, home should have a sense of practicality and stability. So it's important for you to have a partner or somebody that, or hopefully you have more supported planets that bring a sense of practicality, because you could be living in a fantasy when it comes to the way you view your home. And you want people to, you need support and help on people helping you see things in a more realistic ideal. Because, okay, for instance, I know I have a Neptune. I'm ruled, my first house is Neptune. So I'm a Neptune person. I could drift off in fantasies and illusion like nobody's business. And so I love to do it. I love to be in my head. But then I need to remember, and life reminds me. And so when you're dealing with your family and things of that nature, when it not extended family, but I'm talking about your home, your roots. You want to be able to ground yourself at times, but you do want to give yourself the ability to think creatively and tap into that. You probably have some type of creative thing you do at home. You're very you like comfortability because you're able to tap into your natural talents. These are people who are naturally talented, and they were given gifts at a very early age, whether it be intuitiveness, whether it be artistic abilities, whether that be, you know, acting, singing, dancing, expression. You guys have a very natural, authentic ability that shines in home. And so you could be doing things from home. You could work from home in a creative sense, and it can bring a lot of lucrativeness business to you, because you have a very talented gift, which is artistic. It's creative. All Neptune energy is that. It engulfs the ability to reenact and create. Okay? And so, you know, it could be pros to that. But you also really want to remind yourself, you know, remind yourself of who you are, where you are, what is this, you know, and not be so oblivious to the practical side of having a home that is stable. Okay? Also, okay, I'm going to move up. Pluto in the 4th house is a person who needs to be alone. Okay? In some space in that home needs to belong to them. This is a power dynamic thing here. Pluto is a more darker planet, and it deals with intense impulses. And if that is in your house of reaction, you could be very impulsive. You have a very strong intensity about you. You have stunning eyes that are captivating at home. You express yourself through eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, and your soul here is in the 4th house, but it's in an area where your Pluto is intensity, and it's a magnet. So people either want to be around you or do not want to be around you. You can be very positive, or you can be very negative. You can be very influential and outgoing, or you can be very rambunctious and negative. And so you definitely don't want to tap into that type of energy around people a lot. That's why you need to be alone. Pluto has a very magnetizing, powerful ability, but you have a willpower that's out of this world. You will protect your family members. You will die for yours. You are a fearless person. Very intuitive placement to have. If you have your 4th house, which is your nurturing ability, your emotional ability, you have Pluto there. There's a very tapped into your intuition, male or female. Okay, so you're able, just like Neptune, but you're very able to sense the people in your house. You can make people very uncomfortable in the home. You can make things very intense and intimidate people. You probably have a whole weird set of agenda on how you get things you want, because it's not weird, but it's just the way you think. It's like Pluto deals with a lot of the calculated kind of magnet. Like what you want and what you asking for, you go after it, and you have a passion for it. But the way you do it can be a very secretive way, and so your family watches you because something is very intense about you. So people who raise you, caregiver, they watch you because you're very secretive. You need to have some space alone, and it's fine. Like nothing's wrong with you. Like don't feel like because what I'm saying something's wrong with you or anything, because it's not that. You just require your own bubble sometimes because it's very intense. It's Pluto, okay? Pluto is no joke. It's intensity. It's power and control issues. You don't want to have that being expressed to everybody in the house all the time. You could really bring a lot of transformations in home because you're always transforming your home. Always. You're always redecorating. You're always reinventing yourself, and it all starts from home. Even if you have mental breakdowns and you reinvent yourself at home, it's where you are reforming yourself, okay? And so yeah, that's Pluto energy. Now let me tell you about you stellium people. If you guys have 3 is a lot. I mean, it's not that much energy, but typically 4 planets or more in your 4th house. You guys have to really appreciate your home and be aware. Count your blessings, okay? Because it could be a lot of intensity at home. When you have all this energy going on at home, you want it to be a place of peace for you, You're supposed to find peace at home. And so it's really important for you to count your blessings. Know what it is that you have. I understand for you stellium people, because the thing about stellium people is there's a lot of energy in this area of life. This area of life is dealing with your close family, very close, people you live with, dealing with your house, the stability, your emotions, okay? So you want to be sure that you count your blessings and remind yourself every day. Be thankful for things. Be thankful for the littlest to the biggest things, because you could lose it all. You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Be vengeful, hurtful. You could create karma with the people you love, your family members. You don't want to do that, okay? You want to learn to be alone sometimes and find a place that you could have space alone, because it's a lot of energy already going on for you in your home. This could also make you a very amazing, unique person at home. Like, to have a family member that you live with, or a partner or a child that has a lot of energy in the home, it's a lot to deal with, but it makes you very, very individual. Like, this is your space where you are being able, that's why it's so important for stellium people to be able to be in a safe place. Make it your mission in life to create a stability and home environment where you could be yourself, because you don't want people to be making you toxic. You know what I mean? Because, if you have already a lot of energy going on in your 4th house, and you have people who cannot accept you for who you are, how you are, or not appreciate you for who you are, how you are, then it will make you look at yourself like something's wrong. Because the houses, the beginning early houses, are your desires, your needs, what you want, how you feel about yourself. Now, when you get into the 7th, 8th, 9th, that's dealing with the other people. External. This is internal for you. You got to take care of yourself. You don't want to be in a negative, toxic home environment. Make it your life mission to either work from home, be an environment where you control your home, like as far as who you live with, like, you know what I mean? Like, make it your mission to have a home environment that provides you with the stability where you could be expressive and control your household. Because 4th house people that have stelliums there, they need to feel a sense of control. They need to control their home. They have their hands in a lot of areas, whether it be the way they communicate, where they show up, what they appreciate and value, how they want to decorate, their intensity, how they want to be unique. All of these are these planets in that energy. You want to make sure that your life mission is to get a job where you can support yourself. Or let's say you take care of your family members, because everybody's life's different. Let's say you have to live with people or you have to take care of people. Make sure that is your house. Okay? You know what I mean? And be clear on what's your house and what's not your house. Okay? But yeah, overall, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Share your advice, your opinions. We're a community. We work together here. And so, yeah, let me know. I'm very, very happy to do these stellium series. They really are amazing. It really is a dynamic, because I love stellium. I love, the house interpretations. I like to help people understand their houses, because that's the most important part. Whatever planets are in your houses is where your life purpose really evolves and is created and established. So let me know what you think. Any questions that you have, you could definitely email me at universal.love.law. I'm very excited to be working with you guys. And let me know, do you have a 4th house stellium? How's that going for you? How old are you? Are you older? How was your childhood? You can email me if you don't want all your information online, or on the community tab, which is, it's nothing really to be. But let me know how that energy is, because I can only imagine that. But yes, thank you so much for tuning into Universal Love Law.